I'm here in the desert of Nevada, in a very sacred area that is actually on the San Andreas fault line. And as we kind of spin around here, you get a look. And behind me is the plateau of Las Vegas. And I'm heading into the sun at about 1 o'clock, so I'm heading west, so opposite is east. And in this beginning of the canyon are two very prominent areas that are energetic, and I've done some grid work here before in January of 2024, and I'm going to do a little bit more to connect the energetic grid here on another level. I'm really being called to do this work, and as I entered this area of the desert, I was shown that there is a direct connection to this area to another area of a completely different planet. You might call that a portal, you might call that a gateway, you may call that a stargate. I'm 100% positive there's an energetic connection between this specific area and another planet. We're at the bottom of the canyon here, and there's some areas to walk through, but there's defined mounds within this area that are energetically part of a grid. You'll see up top, this is one divine point, and we're going to get on top of that divine point. The other divine point is slightly to the south, and the other point is right up here, which is a little further to the east. It creates a triangle, and right now I'm standing somewhat in the middle of it. We're going to get up to this point. I'll give you an idea, this terrain is not the easiest. This constitutes some specific foot placements. This is not trail work. This is climbing. This is being precise and following the energetic presence of which way to go. You see some of this beautiful lichen on these rocks. It's almost like something left an energetic marker of where to place your feet to get up to the top. So we're making our way to the top, and you can see there are cuts in these canyons that are deep. We're about a 75 to 100 foot elevation from the ground, and still making the terrain up. And as you can hear, I'm breathing a little heavy. It's a little bit of work to get up here, and there's probably a special reason why. As you can see, I'm at the top. There's the fault line below, and unfortunately the sun is at my back, so it's going to cast a shadow. But if we take a look at these rocks, it's really interesting, because it's almost as someone has dumped them here in a specific way. It's very unique, it's interesting, and by far it marks an energetic presence. And here again we show some of the mounds that are just really unique to this area, that create this triangulation through this area. And might be difficult to see, but just beyond this ridge is the plateau of Las Vegas. I've never recorded a ceremony before, and I consider this very sacred, work that has to do with integrity, humility, the essence of who we are, the invocation of our guides, our ancestors, to create this energetic connection to clear the areas of distortion. And I'm going to bring this into a very special way. So I hope that you derive something from it, that you understand the intensity behind the sacred expression. I'm going to set the sacred crystal, the traveling crystal that I have, that will come with me, that goes with me every place when I do my work, my grid work, my healing work. So you'll see this with me, and I will work from this energetic area. As we enter this sacred space, we ask permission from our ancestors, from the land, from the four elements, to guide us, to keep us safe, to allow all negative energy to dissipate, and only to allow the love and light to guide us. Konia shekenea te koana etea sukua nono yokotoa nea sen nonoa etea okoa na ete ako eneata ushukoa na okoa hiia na nea toa sea toa kea ta na nea koa hai toa eke ononoakana. We bring in our ancestors from the sky. We bring in our ancestors from the earth to meet on this plane, to activate, to bring back to life, to clear of distortion, to bring back the energies in which they were intended. I am so grateful to be the medium of this connection. For it comes from the love and appreciation of the elements, our human race, the derivatives in which we came from the stars and descended from the earth. We bring back into harmony, into connection, into the resonation of love, peace, and balance. I ask my ancestors to guide through all kingdoms of life, that we follow the energetic pattern and bring us back to oneness. Oya konara te kera tanna le otua kata e se ke nono otua e ke ataka wa shikanoa ina te tere akana e se totua anna ya takua shikene ataka na ya te se wa tana e shikono ya te kena akana yo oto shikoa na ya te e ke atana noa o ko shikoa te akana e ke Ukua shaka eteana Utua Aho in love and light. As the crystal is vibrating in a physical sense, it is actually vibrating and shaking right now. There's a shadow being cast as I head in a direction that's 90 degrees to the sun, and as I continue to head a little bit more west, it dissipates. But in my mind's eye, I can see that there are ancestors walking with me, and I can hear their footsteps alongside with me and walking on this path with me. And though you may not be able to see them, it's going to be interesting to take a closer look on high def and what's actually being picked up by this camera, because they're here, no question. We're about to enter a sacred space. And what's interesting about this is there's this trail, and I'll show you as we turn the camera around, and it dead ends at this rock formation. So in order to get to the sacred site, we have to traverse this triple obstacle of rock. So it's very interesting. It's a protected site, and I understand why they chose this site, because it somewhat keeps people out of the area naturally. As we look at the different rock formations here, again, it gets very rounded. Really interesting rocks. Everything is changing. Everything's changing from the rocks, the geology that we had before. And again, we come to another little obstacle. Not difficult to traverse, but still, it's not flat. And we're coming up a little bit. And that's the second one. Now look at the texture of the rock. Look how different it is. It's changing. It's changing. Changing. That brings us to our next obstacle. Again, we have this dead end. And it's certainly not our last. But in order to get to where we need to go, we've got to make it up through this. We just made it up through our first obstacle. And as I said, well, there's a couple more to go. Things in threes, very interesting. Again, we're climbing up, looking for good footholds. The area has this, again, really powdery sand, which is quite slippery if you're not paying attention. You really have to have a good foothold. And here we are again. Another place to climb. These aren't simple, but they're not hard. And also it's 106 degrees today, so it's always hot in this desert. And even when I was here in January, it was covered with snow and ice. So it lends some elements of difficulty from the elements, temperature, and times of day in order to traverse this part, which lends us to the opening of the canyon where all the petroglyphs are. Again, what I like to say is there's an obstacle, many obstacles. So if we look directly in front of us, there's a giant boulder wedged in the two walls of the canyon. And in order to get up either side, you're going to do some climbing. And still, there's a 15 to 20 foot area to climb here. It may look small from the camera angle, but it's about 20 feet of climbing. And here we're looking backwards at the downward portion, looking backwards through the canyon. And again, look at that geology. That's very different. Hi. Oya kanare te ke shukuana. E toa koa ke te ka nare o toa shukua. E te anane o toa e ke sheke anare ata ke a ua kuno o toa ana. E se a tata ke a tatua nono o toa sheke utua ka nare ata. E shakotoa ka ne atua ke ene ata ka nare o shukua na ata te a shukua. E ne ata taka na atua. E shokua, e nei atata shoko una e akata shoko tua, e nei atatoa, e se te uana e atukua, uyotono akana atea, ushokua nare ata. As we enter the valley of the petroglyphs, we ask our ancestors to protect us and to awaken us, to allow the signs, the symbols, the messages to awaken those who view and the consciousness of humanity, to allow the secrets to be told in their truth. We bring our ancestors of our Hopi, our Navajo, into this area, the creators of this artwork, message, and story, and those that have come from the stars to this very place to allow us to remember who we are. We bring forth all of our elements of the earth, sky, water, wind, and we ask them to commune with us in this experience, to allow the story to be told as the way it was written, without the interpretations of others. For we will decide and know what is true from within our hearts. We allow the messages to unfold. And we energetically make the connection of this space with our other energetic spaces of this planet that are of significance, as it does include other parts and portions of this message. We connect with our ancestors of Shasta. We connect with our ancestors of Sedona. We connect with our ancestors of Chaco Canyon. And all of the ancillary places of importance that reconnect this energetic grid in the positive aspect and vibration of love, harmony, and peace. We give thanks to our ancestors. We give thanks to our star family. We give thanks to our energetic brothers from inner earth as we commune our energies together once again. In love and light. These rocks tell a story. It's a natural story book, and they're everywhere. It's amazing at what we can see, what we can know. The shapes, the meanings, what does all of this story mean? Made thousands of years ago. These canyon walls are lined everywhere with a very unique story. What do these shapes mean? What do these symbols mean? They're everywhere. The uniqueness of these carved symbols. And all different types of rock. Everywhere. It might be difficult to see, but where this canyon makes its 90-degree angle turn, almost like the shape of the letter L, approximately 35 feet up on either side of this canyon wall, and we're looking at it from an elevated position about 80 feet above the sandy canyon, there are petroglyphs side to side, about 35 feet up. Just where the rock formation changes from that more layered, very thin layered aggregate type rock to the larger rock. And if we pan side to side, I wish we could zoom in on this to give you a better view, but this is probably the only position in which you could see this unless you're completely up close to it. You would not be able to notice the petroglyphs that exist in these areas. We're about 120 feet up the top of the canyon, looking up. Just a gorgeous view, and you can see the other ranges. We're almost at the very top of the canyon. This rock is extremely hot that I'm sitting on. Ooh. It's also pretty energetic, as if it's almost a pointer. So if we look at the rock, this is the rock I'm sitting on right now. It's kind of points in the direction of this. And I'm up pretty high. I'm almost at the top, probably about another 25 feet. Pretty cool. Koetena ja kea tuana eseke tua on jokota etene ja shokoatana ja ketea otoyo tonona ja karatsetea taranoa kata etea nonoata ketea okoete ja narea sokoa hekea utono a sakete ua tututua narea tete shua koto a ekete sekanarea toa katea Okayatana o shukete a unnoriota e shuketa etenea tokoa o sotoe te a narea toa ka e a ta akai no te noriota setea o ya ta e ao I'm so very blessed and grateful to see this depiction once again. And who knows how long this will be here, how long it'll be left. Certainly depicting of something of maybe an ant being, maybe a mantis being. It's pretty big. So I'll try to get down here and show you the size of my head compared to the size of this. One of my favorite petroglyphs here in this area. Still, there's more and more and more and more. All of these symbols are activation codes. You see that it even goes down into the ground, or this rock may have broken off at some point. This interesting symbol. What are these? What are these stories? You have to look carefully. You have to have a keen eye. It has to be the right lighting. And you can start to see the story that emerges. What are these unique symbols put into the rock? What are these? Very interesting that these particular symbols are very similar to something that we already know about. Again, when we take a close look at these symbols, again, somebody's left a penny. I'm glad that we're shooting this in high def so you can see the intricate work. Again, we see this white rock, and it's part of the story that's missing on this rock. Again, not all of this has been fallen because we would have seen it as another part somewhere. It's just been removed. And there's more. There's more of this unique symbolism. Who are these people? What are they trying to tell us? Look at this very interesting symbol. Isn't that just amazing? I love this rock because it has just so much depicted on it. So much to decipher. What does that look like? And what is this? Almost as if it looks like a flying being of some sort. What a great piece. Not just on every flat surface, but rounded. Isn't that just very interesting? Isn't that just very interesting? Here we are on the other side of the canyon wall. And here we have more petroglyphs. But you notice that the geology of this rock is far more different. And we can tell that some people have tried to leave their mark, and for lack of a better word, that is graffiti. But that definitely denotes the difference between what is real and what is currently produced. So I'm on my way out. I am so very grateful for the opportunity today to spend literally hours. I think I spent 5.5 hours today in the petroglyph site, and one person, one human being, that's all I saw. I've had this to my whole self. And I do believe that that was in part designed for what I had to do today, to connect some energy grids, to open some things up personally for me, to give me more insight. And I am so very grateful for the opportunity that was given to me today, where all of this was to my own, almost as it once was a long time ago. So I'm very grateful. Thank you. Aho.